Thank you so much. Good morning, viewers. My name is Samuel Kamiri. I work with Career Track Africa as a career consultant, and I'm grateful today, this morning, to be at KUTV to discuss about understanding educational pathways. So I'm a teacher by profession. I've taught for a number of years, and then I specialized after doing a lot of authorship with CBC, secondary school books. I now deal with career consultancy. Now, our learning today is simply about understanding career pathways. And I know this is a very key area at the moment, because grade 9, they're supposed to make a decision by actually this May, as the government has planned. And therefore, it is very key that you are very attentive and listen to what you are going to get today. Now, before we handle a lot of things, allow me to introduce something we call career development. Because the importance of CBC is for us, we may be able to have a future. The reason why we are in school is for us to have a future. Now, how does that come to be? Now, we go through what we call career development. Career development. And career development has several stages, as we are going to look at. Now, career development, it has several stages, and it is important that all of you, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 learners, you understand this. This is very key for parents. It is very key for even our learners. It is very key for facilitators, as we are calling them this day. Now, it has several stages. Number one, this is the first stage we call skill development. Skill development. That's the first stage of career development. The reason why you are in school, it is because of skilling. Your facilitators, parents, the community around you, the environment around you. It is to equip you with skill development. For instance, when you go to grade 6, you are studying about science and technology. Strand number 1, you are taught about plants, living things. You deal with plants, you deal with animals, you deal with fungi, you deal with circulatory system. It's for you to understand how a man operates, or how your environment looks like. That is skill development. And therefore, we are in school because of skill development. Parents, it's also good for you to know that at home, what you have is skill reflection. You have skill reflection at home. Now, therefore, a lot of things that our teachers are going to introduce these learners to, they will be reflected at home. And therefore, it is important to, a lot of time, look at how does that learner behave when he is at home. It is a reflection of how that child is, or what that learner has got from the school. So skill reflection is very key, because it gives us the level of skill development that have taken place with that learner in school. Now, from there we go to level 2. When we talk about level 2, now, because it's about career development, we come to what we call now career awareness. That's level 2 of career development. Now, this is where parents, learners, students, or even facilitators, you start making these learners aware of the careers that are available. Let the learners know we have several careers. Let them be know we have medicine. Let them know we have law. Let them know we have teaching. Let them know we have several careers. And remember, there's a difference between a career and a course. It is good as we are making our learners aware of the careers that are available, can they also know the courses that are available? If I want to have a particular career, which course do I take? Then after that, we go to level 3, is what we call career exploration. Career exploration. Now, this career is where you start now exploring, is where you start exploring learners to various fields so that they can understand which are careers that I connect with, which are careers that I connect with. So career exploration is for them to know, to understand which are the careers that I can connect with. And how do you do this? There's quite a number of ways we can do this. I'm going to discuss that. Then level 4, now you come to what we call career decision making. Career decision making. You cannot make a decision if you're not informed. It is your skills, your awareness, your exposure that gives you a way to make up a decision. Now, for schools, I want to give you some hints. Now, for you to make learners aware, there are so many things that you can expose to. Now, this is where we start now exposing our learners to things like career fair. Organize these fairs in school. Invite parents, different fields. Let this parent talk to your learners. Learners, get attached to somebody who understands law, who understands something that you're interested in. That is what you call a career fair. And this can be organized in school. And I've seen the school making a mistake. You're organizing a career fair and then you just make learners wear coats. And you find by the end of the day, a learner has more than 10 coats, but he or she hasn't understood exactly what is the career line for them. So it is key that we fieldworks. Fieldwork. Expose learners to fieldwork. Can your school have music? Can our schools have drama? Can our schools have various exposure activities that expose our learners to that? Can our school have sports? This is a okay. Those are actually not part of the fieldwork, but even fieldwork itself, it is good you expose them to outside works, excursions, and quite a number of things. So you can have sports, you can have music, and so many other leadership classes, among many other things that you can have. Now, when you come to career exploration, this is where a learner needs to be in touch with the ground. They need to exactly understand what is my line. And a lot of these things that you can do is what you call job shadowing. Job shadowing, very key. Now, what is job shadowing? Job shadowing is when you are attached. For instance, I might be interested in medicine. And what you can do with medicine is your parent, your school can attach you to a medical doctor. We have levels of exposure, but once you attach to that medical doctor, then that medical doctor is going to explain to you what goes on in medicine, what happens in medicine, how is medicine, and things like that. So by the end of the day, you are able to understand that I'm attached to medicine. Some other areas, you find that maybe that doctor, I've seen the challenges with the medicine. It is so challenging for me. I don't think it is good to handle drugs. It is not good to handle sick people. And you say, for me, I'm not going to be a medical doctor at all. Then you say the next one I want to try is law. Then you go to Kamau and Njoroge advocates, or Oduor and Otieno advocates, and all that. Then after that, you work with them. You hear them talking about in the Constitution of Kenya, Article 244, of this, of that. Then you're able to connect and say, wow, I think that is my good line. I can go to that area. If it is not, you want maybe engineering. Why can't you go to that automotive around you, a mechanic around you? Then probably that is what you call job shadowing. At the end of the day, you will have a lot of exposure on exactly who you want to be. So then once you are well skilled, once you are aware, once you have explored, now you can make a decision on the career that you want to take. And therefore it is very key for you to understand that the reason why CBC is there, it is because CBC, it is to ensure that we are well skilled, we are well aware, we have explored very well, so that by the time we come to make our decision, we are really informed. So I want you to know, by the time you are making that decision, you must have gone through the other 3 levels. And therefore it is very key for you learners, for students, for parents who are listening, to understand that you may understand the CBC, what is required in CBC. Number 1, you need to know what are the paradigm shift in CBC. Why is there a change in CBC? Now, we talk about core competencies. Which are these core competencies? The communication and collaboration, digital literacy, problem solving and critical thinking, creativity and imagination, all that. Now, these are core values that a learner is equipped, and therefore, because today we are not talking about the core values, I'm just mentioning them to know that they are prepared for skill development. We talk about PCIs, the pertinent and contemporary issues. They must be directed to skill development. My teachers, learners, you must understand this. When it comes to value, because CBC is a value-based education, and this value-based education, the values must be towards the skills, the awareness, exploration for a better decision-making. When we talk about the key inquiry questions, now what you know about the CBC is that key inquiry questions, it's not about what, it is about why and how. It is an application question, and that's why it can be able to answer skills development, awareness, exploration for easier decision making. So it is key to know why CBC is there. Now, allow me now to go to what we call now the pathways. Once you have understood that, I will go now directly to what you call career pathways. But now they have changed, because after we have done, I participated in drafting career guidelines for junior school and provocational schools, and therefore we don't call them career pathways. Now we call them educational pathways. Educational pathways. And as we speak today, we have 3 of them. So we have 3. I will let them in the following. We have the first one we call STEM. Then we have the second one we call SS, and then we have CAS. These are the pathways. So the first one is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I guess you know that. So these 3 are pathways, educational pathways. Then we have social sciences. We have creative arts and sports. After that, now STEM, we have others we call tracks. Now STEM has 3 tracks. Actually 3. There used to be 4, but now we have 3. The first one is what we call pure science. We have applied science. And finally, we have technicals. We have technicals. After that, now, but let me finish all the tracks. Then we have social sciences is divided into 2. It used to be 3, but there are 2 now. We have languages and literature. Then we have humanities and BST and business. Humanities and business. Humanities and business. Then we have, this is creative arts and sports. And creative arts and sports is again divided into two. Of course, we have the creative part side. This is the creative arts. And we have sports science. Sports science. Now, among these, we have actually what we call like the fourth pathway, which we call careers in technical studies. This is starting to be like the fourth pathway. Allow me to explain that because I mentioned about it. Now, there are those learners immediately after grade 9, they will not maybe proceed to grade 10, but they wish to, because they are more hands-on, they would like to do something hands-on. So they go to pre-vocational schools. We call them PVS. So pre-vocational schools, then this is where they can do the dressmaking, careers. They can do leatherwork, welding, and fabrication. You know, all those hairdressing, and cosmetology. Those are lines that they can do, but this will be mostly in PVS. Now, for those who proceed to grade 10, now these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks are what they are going to take. Now, once you, it's important to know the subject that will be here. Now, pure sciences will have, these are maths, these are mathematics. Now, remember these are subject now, because in senior school, we are going to have subjects. So we have mathematics, we have physics, we have biology, we have chemistry. Those are pure sciences. Applied sciences, we have computer studies, we have home science, we have agriculture as currently subject that you can understand. Then in technicals is where we have subjects like aviation, we have building, construction, we have the woodwork, as we used to call it, woodwork, things like that. So that's on the technical subjects. Then literature and English languages, you have subject like English and Lit, Kiswahili and Fasihi ya Kiswahili. You get the German, the French, the Arabic, and the other subjects. Humanities, we have the geography, we have the history and the government, we have the CRE, we have the business courses, the business studies, etc. Then we come to creative arts. Creative arts is divided into two. We have the performing arts and we have visual arts. So for visual arts like fine arts, where we have art and design. We have fine arts. For performing arts, we have music as a subject that you can understand at the moment. And then we have the sport science. And you know, this is where we are doing now the athletics, human anatomy, and the rest. Now, grade 9, you are supposed to immediately, I'm sure you have registered for your KIGSEA. Now, after you have registered for your KIGSEA, now you're supposed to make choices. You're supposed to choose, number 1, you're supposed to choose your pathway. That's number 1. Number 2, you're supposed to choose your track. Number 3, you're supposed to choose your subject combination. And number 4, you're supposed to choose your school. Those are the 4 things that every grade 9, I'm sure probably, but the government is going to communicate, but I'm very sure, but around May this year, this is what we should be doing. Your pathway, so you must be selecting, am I going to STEM? Am I going to social sciences? Am I going to creative arts and sports? Then you choose your track. If I'm going to do STEM, am I going to take pure sciences? Will I be on applied sciences? Will I be on this? Or will I be on social sciences? Will I be on languages? Things like that. So now, when you are selecting your track like that, then you select your subject combination. I'll come to schools. So therefore, what we know so far, as the government have said, that we are supposed to take 7 subjects. Let me write them here, 7 subjects. Out of the 7 subjects, 4 are compulsory. And the other 3 are elective. You can select them. They are you just select, either selective or elective. So, in these 4, we have so far, according to the government, we have the English, we have Kiswahili, we have the PHE, that is the physical and health education, and then finally we have community learning service. The 4 of them, these are 4. Then after that, these are compulsory. So therefore, whoever is taking STEM, whoever is taking social sciences, whoever is taking creative arts and sports, you must have these 4 subjects that you'll be taking. Then the other 3, you can decide. What I know is so far the government is allowing for you to choose. You can decide, I'll take maths, I'll take physics, and I'll take computer science. Why is it? I'll take computer science. They make the 3, so that you can jog around within the tracks. You get it? So that you can be able to get from this compulsory. I'm an engineer. I'm a civil engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. So my line will be maths, physics, and chemistry. Maybe you can. Those are the 3. And therefore, they end up making you who you want to be. Now, the school must guide you. The school is going to guide you. And even as we are going to guide you here, in subsequent lessons, we are going to teach you, how do I know where do I belong? We are together? And this will be very key for you. This will be very key for you. So I'm sure you're waiting for that point so much. So we'll come to that level. Now, I guess you have understood that. Somebody who is a social science can have the 4, and then you have now, of course, because there are languages here, you can now choose other subjects to make them 7, either a close or from other tracks. So once we are done with that, so schools, you have chosen your pathway, you have chosen your track, you have chosen your subject combination. Now you want to do your school. Now, of course, I'll be coming back on how do you determine your right career path, your educational pathway, your correct track, and your subject combination. I'll be coming back for that. But now allow me to how do you select the schools? How do you select the schools? Allow me to remove this now. As we speak at the moment, the government is doing the classification of schools. But what you know is that when they are doing the school placement, there are several things that will be considered. Now, number 1, what we have learners choices. I will explain that. Now, level 2, we look at what we call the merits. Then level 3 is what we call psychometric assessment. Number 4 is what we call equity. And finally is available spaces in that school. Now, let me start one by one. Learner's choice. The government is going to give us schools. Now, these schools, they are going to classify them. So far we know, as we speak, now we have national schools, we have extra county, we have county schools, and we have sub-county schools. So we are not sure whether these names will remain or may change. But one thing I know is that these names will change. Now, once these names change, of course, but the levels of the schools will still remain. Now, when we come to, you're supposed to choose 12 schools. 3 of them will be from your sub-county, from your local area where you live, but the other 9 will be outside your area. So that's how they will end up to 12 schools. Now, once you have made your selections, because all this information will be given by the school, this information will be given by your teachers, by your head of teachers and the career teachers that you have in a school or career guidance teachers. Now, once you have done your selection, then the government will come to level 2. They look at the merits. Now, what is the merit? This is the merit. This is the merit. Now, merit, so far we know levels of achievement. There are 4 of them. There are 4 levels. So we have level 1, we have level 2, we have level 3, we have level 4. This is what you call, let me start them the other way around. Level 4, level 3, level 2, level 1. Here we have E, exceeding expectation. We have you meet expectation, approaching expectation, and below expectation. You're sure about those? Very good. Now, here we are going to have 2 levels. We have 2 levels. Now, this level will have now what you call points. These levels will have points. Now, these points, level 4 has 8.0 points, 7.0 points, 6.0, 5.0, 4.0, 3.0, 2.0, 1.0 points. So anyone who is scoring below expectation, probably this can either be from 1 mark to around 20. Maybe this can be 21 to around 40. Just an example. This, I'm sure, we'll have a proper grading system by the government. Then we have here, probably this is like 80, 81 to, no, 91, maybe to 100. Then here we have maybe 80 to 90. You see, it is still exceeding expectation, but some of them are higher than the others. So that's why we have the 8 points. Now, for instance, I have selected schools for level 1. Level 4, sorry. I have selected, just allow me to pick my pen. I have selected a school for level 4, but my points are, you see, you're at point 2. Do you think you can go in the same school with a level 8 learner? No, you can't. Therefore, that's where the merit comes in. So once you have made your choices, then the government will look at your merits. Where are you in this ranking? Are you level 4? Are you level 3? Are you level 2? Or are you level 1? According to your level, then, you'll be sent to that school where it goes with that level that you are in. That's what you call merits. Now, together with that, merits, it is for only school placement. Remember that. Merit is for mostly school placement. When we come to pathway, what is going to be used is a psychometric assessment. We will go in depth and I will explain about psychometric assessment in one of the lessons that we are going to look at. But simply it is studying on how your interest, your abilities, your personalities, they are well analyzed to see where is your strength. How are you wired? Are you wired scientifically? Are you wired artistic? Are you wired? Are you conventional? Things like that. Then once it is analyzed, we are able to tell you that your brain is scientifically wired. So go to science. You are artistic, or you are a realist, or you are conventionist, things like that. So we'll be talking about that in most of our next lessons so that you can understand yourself better. That's what we call psychometric assessment. Psychometric assessment at the moment is supposed to be done in 2 ways. The first way, it's supposed to be Kenya National Examination Council, and also the school level should conduct that. Because how will you do learner's choice when you have not understood yourself? So schools, you must be able to do psychometric assessment. And this is also part of what we are doing. And we can always come to your school and do that. Then once they do that, then your merits and your psychometric assessment, these two are the one that will help you to be placed in a school and to be placed in a career pathway. Is that clear? Thank you so much. Then we go to level 4. Remember, we are still on placement of schools. At level 4, now the government will look at the equity. Remember, I know students across the country would wish to apply. Let's take one school, Alliance. I'll take a school like Alliance High, or Alliance schools, both boys and girls. How many learners do you think are going to choose Alliance boys and Alliance girls? A lot of them. Now, does that mean that everyone has to be accommodated in Nairobi County? No. So here the government will say, you are in Kilifi County. We also have a national schools there. We also have a school of the same caliber with Alliance. Go there, because some of us come from those areas. So so that they can spread out learners in different parts of the country. And then the other thing that we determine is that I may have qualified to be in Nairobi, to be in Alliance, but does it have space? It doesn't have space. I might be qualified for Kiambu to go to Mangu High, but is there space there? There is no space. If there is no space, it can send me to Galbatura. It can send me to Kisumu High. It can send me to other schools across the country. So that we can have equity and proper distribution of learners in various schools in our country. So now, after we have done that, it is therefore very important for us to understand the following. Now, I want to go deeper into this, and I want us to determine how can we determine with clarity. Now, I want to talk about the how. The how. The how. Now, how do I know? Am I STEM? Am I social science? Am I creative arts and sports? Now, there are three ways that you can determine this. And number one is what we call self-discovery. Self-discovery method. Number two, we look at what we call formative and summative assessments. Now, here is where we interpret the rubrics. And I know teachers or facilitators, we should get about that. And then number three is what you call psychometric assessments. Now, these are the three methods that you can determine with clarity where do I belong. And because we are going to handle this in the next lesson about self-discovery method, formative and summative assessment, and psychometric assessments. So, with this, you are able to know my strength by observations and a number of ways that you are going to discuss. So, I think let's call it a day. Thank you so much. And I hope in the next lesson, we are going to start on self-discovery method. And therefore, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let's meet in the next lesson. Okay. Now, self-discovery. When we talk about self-discovery, then you need to, let's start with the method 1 on self-discovery. Now, self-discovery is when now you analyze yourself. Now, if you have got these three, allow me now to start sticking to one so that you can now analyze what is self-discovery method. Now, self-discovery, from the word self-discovery, we talk about 6 factors. 6 factors that you must consider to exactly determine which is my correct pathway, which is my correct subject combination. Now, number 1, this is what we call your personality. Your personality. Now, what is a personality? Personality revolves around 3 things. It revolves around your feeling, revolves around your thinking, and revolves about your behavior. 3 things. It's about your feeling, it's about your thinking, and it's about your behavior. So, and a lot of times we have an equation. How is this equation? So your behavior is equal to your feeling plus your thinking. And that's why I talk about cognitive. Thinking is about cognitive. Feeling is about emotions. So therefore, there are those intelligence that we measure between that for us to know your behavior is controlled by what. Now, when you analyze how you feel, how you think, and how you behave, because it's directly proportional to your feelings and your thinking, and you must ensure that someone whose behavior is balanced, it means your emotions, your behavior, your feelings, and your thinking is at equilibrium. If you have any of the one that is more than the other one, then you'll have a problem. For instance, if my behavior is controlled by emotions, I'll either be, maybe, I know for facilitators you can give this. You find learners who are really controlled by emotions. Every time is just crying in class. Every time. Those that are, when you see people who kill and they don't care, it's about they don't have a feeling, it's only about thinking. So behavior is controlled by that, and it is always good to have an equilibrium. Your B, your F plus your T, for it to be balanced. So if your B, it can be the other way around. So the other way around, you have B, you have that, and then you have F. So, because it's right, it can't still be the other way or T. So it's you to decide. Now, because that's not it of the day, allow me to discuss on personality. Now, personality of people who are, let me start with social science. Now, social science, how is their personality? So, number 1, their personality is outgoing. This is somebody who don't want to be closed in a place. Every time you just want to be somewhere. Just want to be somewhere. You want to be out. You want to feel you're joining with people, things like that. Because hey, maybe there's a way I would have defined this as a personality. As a personality, when we talk about STEM, when we talk about SS, when we talk about CAS, now we call this innovative thinkers. We call this empathetic thinkers. The empathetic thinkers. CAs, we call them expressive thinkers. So if the personality of a STEM person is quite innovative, the personality of social is to understand people. They are more geared to understanding people. For sports people and arts people, they are more expressive. You know, they want to draw something for them to express themselves. They want to speak as they do an action because they want to express something. These are more understanding people. These are mostly innovation. What can they do better than we are? So you need to think on those lines, number one, as a personality, because it will guide you on your career path. But now we are on personality as factor number one, and you're looking at a social scientist. We have said they are outgoing. Number two, they are very empathetic. Empathetic. You know, feeling of others, they want to understand others, things like that. So they are curious. These are curious about people. They are curious about people. They still want to understand more about people. And they enjoy storytelling. This is the ways you can judge yourself. They are very persuasive. Very persuasive, and their adaptability is very high. They are very adaptable. They quickly fit into areas, unlike a STEM person. So this is the personality of social science people. So are you outgoing? Are you empathetic? You have feeling for others? You want to understand others? You want to advocate for others? You want to speak for others? You want to know what's the problem with others? You are very empathetic. Then, are you curious about people? What is new with people? How is the people's culture? How does it work? All these are different. Then, do you enjoy telling people about yourself, about others, about stories? You know, these are people who can sell anything to you. Very persuasive. They can tell you about something that is not good, how good it is. By the time you go home, you find, wow, these people is like they give me a lot of good words, but they are very persuasive. They are very able to convince you. And then they fit in a new environment very fast. Those are people who are adaptable. Now, if you have this personality, because I know you're analyzing yourself, if you have this personality, your personality fits well in social sciences. Now, what about a personality of a CS person? What about the personality of a CSS person? Now, number one, they are very energetic. Energetic. Remember, we are calling them expressive thinkers. So every time they want to use a lot of expression to say something. And this is why you see a lot of musicians. You know, you see the way they are, they sing, the way they put their hand like this, the way they put their legs like this. It's very energetic. They are very energetic. They are spontaneous. They are very spontaneous. Meaning, you know, these are people who can act different way, different times. Very spontaneous. Because, of course, of the energy they have, they are very spontaneous. They are very imaginative. Imaginative. Remember, these are people who can create. They can create new things. You get into a house, you see disorganization. Well, the owners had really organized the house very well. But immediately you get to that house, you see that thing is not placed well, that thing shouldn't be there. That's very imaginative. when they are talking their stories, they like storytelling also, but in their storytelling, it is more imaginative. They like giving more imaginative stories. So these people, they are also highly emotional. Highly emotional. They are highly emotional. Now, because they express themselves, because somebody who is like a drama, you act, so you must be very emotional because you are acting on someone, about someone who has lost a partner. So, and therefore, if it is about that, therefore, then you must ensure that you act in a highly emotional way so that people can understand you. But remember, you are not the same person who is doing that, who have experienced that. You are in the shoes of that other person who have gone through that trauma or that problem. So they are highly emotional. And always they try to seek an audience. They always seek an audience. And this is where I usually tell facilitators, you know those kids who come crying in your office, who come crying in your class, and they come saying, oh, teacher, I have this problem, I have that problem, teacher. They cry, they just want you to hug them, hold them. You know, is seeking an audience. Is seeking an audience. And therefore that learner probably will end up in expressive career line, which is CS. Learners, are you analyzing yourself? Thank you. So, very energetic, very spontaneous, very imaginative, highly emotional, and they seek a lot of audience. So, what about just a minute. Yes, what about the STEM? When you come to STEM, just a minute, I get us trying here. And what I know about STEM people, number one, they are very innovative. They always look for new ways. They always look for new ways to, yes, the logical innovators, or logical, these are logical, or innovators, or logical thinkers. Now, how are they? Now, number one, they are very analytical. They are very analytical. You know, they like analyzing. These are people when you send them to a shop, parents, facilitators, if you send these guys to a shop and you ask them about where they went to the shop, they give you yes, nothing else, yes or no. They don't give you any more information. If you need any more information, you can ask from them. Did you get the bread? Yes. Did you get the change? Yes. Where is the change? Is up there. You know, very analytical. So they also detail oriented. Just detail oriented. Did you get the change? Yes. Of how much? 20 shillings. Oh, okay. So how much is the bread? Detail oriented. These are scientists. So if you are analytical, you like criticizing so much. You criticize, you critique. And the reason why you are critiquing is to get the details. It is not wrong to critique. And even those people who you are critiqued by others, if there's such a word. So it's because those guys are STEM people and they want to get a lot of details from whatever you are talking about. So they are detail oriented. Number three, they are also structured. Very structured. Now, a lot of these people, they are not like this. They are not like spontaneous. If you look at the locker of a cast person, Alana, and the locker of this guy, you find that the local of a STEM person, he knows that from the morning we are going to start with English. You put the books at the top of your locker. Then from there you go to Kiswahili. From there you go to mathematics. From there, like that. So locker is well organized. But if you go to a locker of a CS person, mostly you'll find books. Some of them are up. You know, so spontaneous, you cannot tell. But these guys are very structured. When they are giving their talk, they organize introduction. They say 2 minutes. They move. Explanation, 10 minutes. And they have points. These are the points I'm going to give. Point 1, point 2, point 3. And then lastly, conclusion. Done. Very structured. Because they understand systems. You know, they are biologists, they are chemists, they are physicists, mathematicians. They understand structures. They understand processes. So they are also very curious. Okay, curiosity is also a career for a line for all of us, but you find that these are very curious because of the details. So because of the curiousness, then you are very analytical to get the details. You get it? And most of them are also introverted. Introverted are people who don't speak a lot. So they just about themselves. They like doing things on their own. But it doesn't mean that if you are an introverted, that you are a person who don't engage in problem solving. So they are introverted, but yet it's good to say they are deeply engaged in problem solving. They are deeply engaged in problem solving. So therefore, it is very important for you to understand, if you're very analytical, how you behave. That's your personality. You know, you behave. Your behavior is very analytical. You're a detailed person. You are very structured. The way you work, you're very curious because of the details and analytical. And then you are introverted. Most of these, they're not talkative people. They're not really outgoing. They're just about themselves, but they're really engaged, deeply engaged in problem solving. Now, that gives you about the STEM person. How can you analyze your personality to fit the 3 pathways? But remember, we are talking about 6. So that is just 1. So I've talked about you must be very outgoing. If you are outgoing, that's a socio. If you are energetic and the rest, that is CAS. The STEM, the analytical, the detail-oriented, and all that. So that is the first one that we can talk about, the personality. So number two, I said there are 6 of them. So I will handle number 1, and probably I will handle number 2. Remember, we are on self-discovery method. We are on the how, and we have said STEMs are logical thinkers or innovative thinkers. SSS are empathetic thinkers, and CAS or creative arts and sports are expressive. So note the word logical or innovative, empathetic, and expressive. So what about number 2? I'm going to address about abilities. I'm going to talk about abilities. Now, what is an ability? Abilities are those things that you do successfully without struggle, or with less struggle. They are those things that you do successfully with less struggle. That's your ability. Now, how do you analyze your ability if you are a STEM person? If you are SS? If you are CS? Okay? Now, for STEM, their abilities, they are very strong, logical. They are very strong in logical reasoning. Very strong in logical thinking. Now, what is that? You question a lot. Maybe when you're doing mathematics, you question a lot. Logics. You want something to flow. you know, how can we get 1, 2, 6? How come here we have a difference of 1 and here we have a difference of 4? You want to understand why. You know, these are different of 3. So it's more understanding, you know, you're thinking, and so that you can create a pattern. You can create a pattern. So once you create that pattern, it's because you are strong in thinking. Number 2, you know, they are abstract thinking. Abstract thinking, the ability to work with formulas, you know, everything. Whenever you're starting, let's say you're even talking about money, and you say that has to be X. If I have X shillings, then I want you have 2X shillings. You know, they are more of formulas. These are scientists. They are good in patterns. They are good in data. They are good in patterns. They are good in data. Now, this, if this is where you fall, you are thinking logical. You know, you understand data. You understand patterns. You understand systems. You understand ability to work with formulas. And you are abstract thinking. You know, you are STEM. You are STEM. Your pathway is STEM. So, what about, what about a social scientist? Your ability, you know, this one, they have strong verbal. Yeah, they have strong verbal and written communication. They are very strong. When they communicate, the way they express themselves, the way they write, it's very strong. In fact, in class, teachers love reading social scientist stories. The insha, the composition. Why? Because their strength in verbal and written communication is very, very strong. Now, also this one, they also understand. They have that ability to understand different perspectives. Remember, they understand people a lot. So, and because they understand people, they are able to understand different perspectives of people. They are able to understand, you see, a science person must analyze to get a whole thing. But a social scientist person must get to know, you know, in a 360 degrees. The guy who is a scientist might not just want to know the content of this, but a social scientist just know what is the general outlook of this, is the perspective. How do people view it? But the content is not a big deal for a social scientist. That is for a STEM. But for a social scientist, it's about the general outlook, the perception, the perspective of how it is still seen. Then they're also good in critical thinking. They critique a lot. Because they want to understand more. They critique a lot. So if you have a strong verbal and written communication, so most probably you are a social scientist. If you understand different perspectives, or you endeavor to understand different perspectives, you are. If you critique a lot, you know everything you want to critique. You want to critique the history. You want to critique the way people live. You want to. You are a social scientist. Learners, are you getting that? Good. And then lastly, allow me to. What about an ability for an expressive person, the CES? Number one, we see this, they have a high physical coordination. High physical coordination. These are the dancers in your school. When we say step is 1, 2, 3, 4. all of them, you put them together. Physical coordination, well, the way they move their head, the way they move their hand, the way they move their body, and the way they move their legs, it goes the same way. But I know some of us, if you are here, you try to, others are still trying to dance, but you are trying to move the same way, you can't make it. What's the problem? Not that you are not able to coordinate, it is because you don't have a high physical coordination. So they have what we call artistic vision. Then they see images, they see expressions, they see, and even when they are describing or explaining something, you can see them, they are like already explaining a picture, they're explaining an image, or they're explaining something that can be seen. Then they also have a very strong memory for melodies, and they have, strong memories for rhythms or melodies. They have very strong memory for rhythms and for melodies. So they are artistic, and probably finally they are also quick reflexes in. They are very quick reflex on spots. Those guys are able to tap. When we are doing that game, able to tap like a number of times without failing. So they are smart in that. So these people, if they have a very quick reflexes, their body is adapt very fast with the sports, and they learn very fast for sports. They might not end up in sport, yes, but they are artistic people, because you can see, what you're talking about, we are talking about expressive. What we are talking about here, we are talking empathetic. What we are talking about here, we are talking about logical and innovative. So we have said those are 6 ways, but for now we have only been able to handle 2. I'm sure the next 4 of them, we are going to handle them in the next lesson as one of the way of self-discovery method to determine where do I belong. Do I belong to STEM? Do I belong to social sciences? Or do I belong to creative arts and sports? So thank you so much for that lesson today. I guess you have learned a lot. This is the lesson 2, where we are going to, another lesson, where we're going to discuss more about discovering ourselves. Otherwise, thank you so much. Let's meet in the next lesson.